Hello and welcome to 5 Question Friday. My name is Joe Silva and I'm the Vice President of Sales for Kokua Technologies. Kokua Technologies is a service company that happens to provide technology services. How do we do this? Is by providing full service support, maintenance, and protection to companies the size of 1 up to multi-million-dollar projects migrating 60 plus locations to the cloud and everything in between. Kokua realizes that our local business community still really needs our support. So 5 Question Friday is a way for you and I both to learn a bit more about these businesses and how we can help them. One way that we can help is by liking and sharing this post. Also, by clicking the link that's included. By doing so, it'll enter you into a drawing for a reward from another local business. So please, sit back and enjoy 5 Question Friday. And by the way, remember, locals only.
Welcome, friends. Today we have the pleasure of welcoming Hala Shawaf Barson from VoIP Doctors. For those who are not familiar with VoIP Doctors, their services include business telecom, internet, and cellular solutions for small to middle market businesses and public entities. They partner with IT firms across the country to deliver world-class telecommunications, and they're committed to ensuring access to quality broadband internet services in all communities. Hala is a co-founder and CEO of VoIP Doctors. She leads the business development and integration strategy teams. She's also a passionate believer in the benefits of leveraging technological tools to empower people. That ensures that technology and people combine to provide the best possible resources and solutions for her clients. Prior to co-founding VoIP Doctors, Hala worked with the businesses of all sizes, from Main Street to middle market, as well as municipal and nonprofit organizations. She helped them to devise and implement digital solutions to create operational efficiencies, mitigate risk, and ultimately make people happy. She's also an active member in the community. She is an active volunteer, an avid volunteer, and she's engaged in several nonprofit boards and communities with a particular focus on arts, financial literacy, and diverse entrepreneurship. Now, her partner, Michael, is not on today, but he is the co-founder and chief technology officer. He leads the technology and engineering teams at VoIP Doctors, and he oversees the system architecture and strategy for the company. You might consider him the brain, and Hala could be even the brawn, but we could say the beauty as well. But she is the people person. Michael is definitely the technology side of the fence. He's designed and implemented 21st century solutions for Fortune 500 companies. And he has a passion for finding the best possible solution for his clients. He has 2 decades of carefully honed IT and VoIP expertise as both a user and a system developer. So right now we just want to say welcome, Hala. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us, Joe. It's a true pleasure.
The pleasure is absolutely all ours. It's been a while. We've been wanting to have you on, so glad that we can finally get it together. And so I just want to jump into it. So VoIP Doctors is as a company is new, but as we said, obviously clearly you and Michael have many years in this space and helping clients with their technology solutions. So for VoIP Doctors, excuse me, how would you describe your company's workplace culture?
That's a great question, Joe. And culture was a huge and important factor when we started VoIP Doctors. We very much live in a people first and relationships first world within VoIP Doctors. It's how Mike and I both built our careers and how we started out when we were building VoIP Doctors brick by brick. It's how we've grown it into the thriving business that it is today. One thing that makes our partnership so strong, the partnership between Mike and me, is that we have different skill sets and points of view. And that's part of the diversity that we talk about when talking about building a team and building a company culture, is looking at what attributes we all bring to the table. We have different risk tolerances, right? So something that one of us thinks is a great idea that we should jump in on, the other one says, maybe we should consider these few things. And that foil, right, that we present to one another helps, actually aids in our decision making. It allows us to talk through processes, talk through ideas, and ultimately come up with solutions that work and that serve our clients and our team members really well.
That's awesome. That makes a lot of sense, and I can definitely see that. So as you're building the team, obviously you're bringing on employees. What qualities do you look for in when you bring someone on, a new employee?
So we look for really great humans first. This means we tend to seek out bright, open-minded, and truly kind colleagues and networking partners, even people who are committed to a similar code of business ethics, right? Always doing the right thing for the people involved in any given situation or even transaction. It includes honesty, integrity, and mutual respect and appreciation for what we bring to our company, our work team, and also our clients. When we're looking for new team members, we keep all of this in mind, and we also ask ourselves, again, going back to that difference of opinion and how that makes the group richer, who thinks differently than we do already, right, within our group, while sharing our core values of that relationship first, relationship driven decision making. And, we believe in doing well by doing good. And so we look for colleagues who will be glad to roll up their sleeves and participate in that model when we're getting involved in the community.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm sure as you have worked through this venture and brought it forward and really got off the ground and you established yourself quite well at this point, you've probably had a few learning experiences, right? So you had an opportunity to speak to your younger self, just starting out, how many years back you want to choose, but just starting out, you had an opportunity to do a flashback and give yourself a piece of advice. What advice would you give?
Such a great question. And as I've had those learning opportunities, especially over the last couple of years, it's something that I've had a lot of opportunity to think about, right? Like, what do I wish I had known sooner? Or really, like, what do I wish I would have been willing to believe sooner in my life? And what I would say to my younger self is to be braver sooner. And what that means is like being willing to try and fail and try again. Failure is learning. Being willing to try again is growth. Every experience is valuable, even if it feels catastrophic in that moment. There's an opportunity to learn from that. If I could encourage my younger self to learn to sit with things that feel terribly uncomfortable and to get good at identifying why those things make you feel uncomfortable. That skill set to sit and identify and name puts the power back in your hands, or in my younger self's hands, to shape the outcome of a situation. And to that point, I would tell my younger self that the only thing that you'll ever truly control is your set of actions or reactions to any given event at any particular point in history. When we learn that we can perhaps influence outcomes, right, by always doing our best, by planning and preparing and doing good work, we can influence things, but we can never totally control events outside of ourselves. And that learning and acceptance of that as like a universal truth was a really important step in my development as a human being and as a professional and as an entrepreneur.
Wow, that makes a ton of sense. That's some amazing advice and information. That's I wish I could go back to my younger self and give that same piece of advice, because that is really some great stuff, and I'm sure some people have got some, gleaned some knowledge and motivation from that. That's so it's interesting. So that is a piece that you've learned through the process, looking backwards, saying, I wish I could give this advice. As a business owner, I'm sure there's other aspects. Now let's maybe speak on the legal aspect of actually what you should consider starting out, because I'm hoping nothing significant, and I'm sure not, would have occurred to make you think about that. But we all run into those road bumps, or those little potholes along the way. You said, if I would have done this, or I should have done that, may have helped to smooth it out. So what would you say are some legal aspects you might want to consider starting out in a new venture?
So there are several things, and I could probably go on for several minutes, if not longer, about things that we did consider when we were starting out. I will say that I had the benefit of 15 years working with businesses, from what we call solopreneurs now, to large corporations as a trusted advisor to those entities. So I saw things go well, and I saw things go really poorly, sometimes through poor planning or failure to see things, and sometimes through pure chance, and nobody could have done something differently. And then I watched how they reacted, and looked at how we were able to help them. But what I would say is, consider everything. If you are an individual or partnering up with someone and you're a small business just starting out, write down all of the questions that are undoubtedly running through your brain, possibly at 3 a.m., right? What happens if my brain does this to me still? Organize those questions and research what you can. Pick the brains of people that you already know, like, and trust from your network. If you don't have a business attorney, a CPA, accountant, and a banker, a business banker or commercial banker that like, and trust completely, reach out to people you do know, like, and trust within your network and ask for those introductions, and then interview those people. Just because they're awesome professionals doesn't mean that they're the right fit for you and your business. Doesn't mean there aren't opportunities to do business together down the road either, even if you don't end up hiring them directly. Questions that we had when we started our business included things like, how shall we organize the business, right? What's the legal structure? LLC, corporation, which kind of corporation? What business name do we want to use? How do we record that? How do we protect some of those business assets as we build them? Eventually, we went on to trademark our name, for instance, but that was something that we didn't do right away. We waited to, gain some traction and get more established. Other considerations that we had: will we self-fund our business expenses, or will we seek outside investment? What kinds of insurance protection do we need commercially? Are you going to have employees? There's a whole nother set of concerns that will crop up so that you can provide a great experience for your employees. What taxation and regulatory issues pertain to businesses like yours? Consider your industry, your business model, e.g., are you selling retail? Are you selling wholesale? And your geography, right? Because those issues will change depending on where you are, what you do, who you're selling to, and so forth. How do we want to structure our ownership and operating agreement or articles of incorporation was especially important for us. We knew that with me taking the lead on business strategy and basically creating a business with Mike, in which Mike could do what he does best, which is being this, telecom engineer, we knew that we would seek out a women-owned business designation from some of the national certifying bodies, including WeBank and the Small Business Administration. So considering like what percentage of ownership, right, and what levels of control each owner had were important, not only to address skill sets and mitigate risk internally, but looking towards some of those things that strategically down the line would help to build our business. The last thing that I would say is that going into business, like starting any other venture, it could be wonderful, it could be not so wonderful. Have a formal plan for both eventualities, and make sure that the plan is something that you and any partners you have all agreed to in writing. It can be a living document, right? Because things change over time, but it should be documented, and it should be something that everybody is clear on. And experienced advisors like your attorney, your accountant, your business consultants or coaches will be able to point you in the direction of resources or provide those resources to you to make that whole process easier.
That is some amazing and valuable advice and information. Know, like, and trust. Having that team of advisors that you can reach out to as resources for these, as you clearly illustrated and pointed out, a mountain of things to be considered potentially. But as you said, I mean, that's something that that team can handle for you. And if you know, like, and trust them, you can feel confident that they're handling that part, and you can go on and do what you've been doing, and that's building the business, right? And focusing on that aspect of it. So that's amazing information, amazing advice. Definitely things good anyone looking to start a business should be paying attention to. So let me ask last question. Let me ask this as just kind of something out there. Clearly, working with Michael in telecom is clearly your number one dream job. But if you had to pick a second, what would you say would be your dream job?
So I would tell you, first of all, that I'm actually living my dream job right now with VoIP Doctors. I love strategizing and setting up resources and systems so that the people that I care about can shine. Like, that is what I love to do. That's what energizes me. That's what gets me out of bed and gets me moving in the morning. Well, that and copious amounts of strong coffee. But I enjoy starting and scaling businesses, partnering with other business owners to support and nurture and grow one another in our communities. And, like, not to sound too cheesy, but every day I get to help other people live their dream jobs by simplifying this one, technological thing that is an incredible tool, but can also feel really cumbersome if you don't have a partner to help you understand it and implement it and use it to its fullest. And so to be able to simplify something that's otherwise kind of complex and cumbersome and have that be part of launching someone's business to the next level, keeping their employees happy, keeping their clients happy, that's like rocket fuel for me in the morning. And it's actually that simple. In addition, though, I will say, before I was in business, I was a fine artist and a metalsmith, which some of our network knows and some don't. So I do enjoy having creative time, and I actually find that really helps to balance. And it's when I do some of my best sort of figuring out of business things, especially when we're working on new strategies and how to take those things and run with them.
That's interesting. That's great. I did not know about the metal smithing. So I'll know that next time I need my Thor hammer forged, I know who to go to. So that's excellent. That's great. It's great. And it was kind of a trick question because I did have a feeling that you are, in fact, just speaking to you outside of this and other venues, that you are truly happy, ecstatic about what you're doing and who you're doing it with and who you're doing it for. So excellent. Thank you so much. You did not disappoint. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be on today for 5 Question Friday. And remember, for those of you out there watching this, to click the link to enable yourselves to be involved in the rewards drawing for this month. And Hala, if you could, just the last piece, let everyone know how they can reach out to you, what your website is, Facebook, or so any pieces that you'd like to put out there that they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely, Joe. And thank you so much for having me on and giving us a chance to talk about who we are and what we do and why we love doing it. You can reach out to me at voipdoctors.com or any of the major social media channels, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter at VoIP Doctors.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much for being on today. It was an absolute pleasure. Please, everyone who's watching, click the link, follow Hala and VoIP Doctors, and reach out to them for all your telecommunication needs. So until next time, remember everyone, locals only. Thank you.